Mira, ini lagi baik. Baik sih.
Hi, this is Happy TV reporting from the field in front of Block 206 along Clementi Avenue 6, where the Singapore Democratic Party is holding its rally. This is the last day where parties can hold rallies for the 2015 general election. The field is slightly wet due to some rain in the afternoon. Many people came prepared with stools, ground sheets and newspapers to sit on. Despite the rain, the air is still slightly hazy. We will be providing live coverage of this rally. Stay tuned with us.
Test, test, mic test, mic test.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Test, 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 test.
Who wants the website tonight?
Can you smell what the SDP is cooking? Good evening, fellow Singaporeans, and welcome to the SDP's rally for GE2015 here at Clementi. Are you all happy to be here tonight? Do you want your voices to be heard in Parliament? Do you want your ministers to work for you? Do you want your children to grow up confident and happy? Do you all want to have a brighter tomorrow? Well, that's great, because we also want that too. For you, for me, for our loved ones, and for every other citizen of this country. And that's why we here at SDP are so excited and happy to see all of you here tonight. Because without your love and support, SDP is nothing. We fight for you as much as you fight for us, because we are in this together. Right or not?
Right.
Alright, my name is Dennis, and this is my colleague Yok Chu, and we'll be your MCs for this evening. And we also have two sign language interpreters, Amira and Shumei.
晚上好，谢谢您到场支持我们。首先，我要跟大家讲一些有关竞选活动，我们需要你们的帮忙。你们知道竞选活动的人力和资金是有很多的，我们恳求您待会儿到红顶部亭那边参观，看看有哪些物品您喜欢，支持，好不好？好。另外，我们也需要你们向我们的工作人员报名，成为我们在9月11日当天的选票和点票人员，帮忙监督选票过程顺利和公平的进行。谢谢你们。
And we've got really great rally lineup for you tonight, and all our candidates are eagerly waiting to come on stage and share with you their visions for tomorrow. One that is competent, constructive, and compassionate. And tonight we've got a really special guest star, and he's none other than Danny the Bear. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a big round of applause. Danny the Bear is getting on stage.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Danny. Hey, Danny, how are you feeling today? Good? All right, come up here. Hi, Danny. Hey, Danny, I want to ask you something. Do you think SDP can make it? Can. All right, I want to ask them. SDP, ladies and gentlemen, do you think SDP can make it? Yeah. Okay, I say SDP, you all say can, all right? 1, 2, 3. SDP. Yeah. SDP. Yeah. SDP. Yeah. Give yourself a big round of applause. Thank you. Now, Danny will be joining you guys on the field, so if you want to go up to him, take pictures, say hi, just feel free to do so, okay? Thank you.
好，首先要介绍的是荷兰古吉芝麻基选区的候选人，他就是西吉玛丽先生。
And presenting our candidate for the Holland-Bukit Timah GRC, Mr. Sidek Malik.
Good evening. Salam sejahtera. Ni hao.
Thank you.
My fellow Singaporeans. Our election campaign is coming to a close shortly, and it has been one emotional ride, one that I will never forget. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for encouraging us. Thank you for reminding us to keep this campaign clean and rational. And thank you for giving us the moral courage to speak for the truth. My colleagues in SDP, my family and I owe you a debt of gratitude. But first, the fight is not over, my friends. You can help us by telling us and telling your friends and relatives about SDP. From now and during the cooling off days until it's time to cast your vote on Friday. So tell them about the good candidates from SDP who are contesting at Bukit Batok, Bukit Panjang, Yuhua, Marsiling UT GRC, and Holland-Bukit Timah GRC. I know some of you have followed us and heard our speeches for the last 8 days. So tell them about how the SDP leaders have inspired you. Tell them about all the policy papers that SDP has put forward on economy, the population, healthcare, education, housing, ministerial salaries, the Malay community, and, of course, our cost of living. You must also tell them how passionate, genuine, and sincere the SDP is in fighting for the ordinary Singaporean. Tell them that the SDP is serious and credible. We have our feet firmly planted on the ground. Tell them how much the SDP has given you renewed hope for the future. But most importantly, you must tell them that you have no other choice but to vote for SDP this Friday. Dear Singaporeans, SDP's campaign has always been about you. Unlike PAP, the well-being of Singapore and Singaporeans are all that we are focused on, both today and tomorrow. Unlike the DAPP, we have chosen to focus on what's good about our policies instead of what's bad about our opposition. Unlike the PAP, we have chosen to focus on the issues that impact Singaporeans instead of personalities and gutter politics. Unlike the PAP, we are humbled by our opportunity to be part of the democratic process instead of showing arrogance founded on success from the days gone by. Unlike the PAP, we believe that there is a way for all concerned to coexist, working together for the good of Singapore instead of power concentrated in the hands of just one party. Unlike the PAP, we believe in the value of diverse opinions and voices instead of a monolithic dominant voice that obscures everything else. Unlike the PAP, we believe that there are many capable and good Singaporeans instead of those who only wear white. Unlike the PAP, we believe in a majority of Singaporeans to do the right thing and vote for their future, their children's future, instead of voting to preserve the status quo or worse, their past glories. At the NCP, we believe in you, that you will make the right decisions come Friday, and that you will decide to cast your vote for SDP as your voice in Parliament. Allow me to close by sharing my story, my journey. My journey to these general elections started back in 2011. 1 month ago, I was just like you, the ordinary Singaporean, leading a normal life, nurturing my family, and helping my children to achieve the Singapore dream. A challenge was put before me by Dr. Chee Soon Juan. A challenge to take a path different from what I'm used to. It occurred to me that I can be part of a democratic process that could help change the future of my children. I was apprehensive and aware of my shortcomings, but the call of duty, national duty, was too strong that I was both to overcome my fears and hesitation, anticipating the drastic change to my family life. I was also afraid for my livelihood, my children's privacy. I spoke honestly to my mother, my wife, and my children. They are the most important people in my life. With their support, I was encouraged. Then I asked myself, what is there to fear? Let me quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, quote, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the thing which you think you cannot do," unquote. I believe all of you can do this come Friday. You may have followed my journey and shared my experiences from nomination day to this day. I have yet to overcome some of my fears, but believe me, I have strengthened my conviction, a conviction to serve, a conviction to speak up for the ordinary Singaporeans like you and I. last 9 days, the experience was intense, but I will not change this experience for anything else. A chance to fulfill the hopes and aspirations of Singaporeans. My friends, in the same spirit, I invite you to cast away your fears as you step up to the polling booth. Remember, your vote is your voice. Your vote is secret. The time for change is now. We have lived with doubt for too long, and we have waited on the sideline with fear. However, in this election, the wave of hope has come to our shore. Let's all together cast away our fears and doubts aside. With your vote in your hands, I am confident you will do the right thing come Friday. I say there's only hope. Your hope, my hope. So vote for the SDP and let us be your voice in Parliament. To my Malay supporters, we close with a pantun. Habislah tahun berganti zaman, badan merantau, sakit dan senang. Membawa diri untung dan malang. Bila kita dapat berjumpa, hati susah jadi senang. Mudah-mudahan segala niat suci dikabulkan. InsyaAllah. So, my friends, what are you waiting for? Vote for SDP this coming Friday. Thank you, Mr. Siddiq. All right. Now I know the field is a bit muddy, and some of you came really early today, and some from as far as Swabaya. So all of us here at SDP would really want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much. Please give yourself a big round of applause. Thank you. Now, running an election campaign is not easy, all right, and it involves a lot of effort. The truth is, we do need your assistance, your continued assistance and support. And if you look to your right, we've got a merchandise booth there where you can check out our books, magazines, Danny the Bear soft toys, clappers, light sticks, and other souvenirs and materials. Especially the flags, okay? Please get our flags and bring them to your office, bring them to your offices, attach them to your cars, hang them outside your door, hang them outside your window. Show everyone that you stand with us, that you stand for freedom, courage, and compassion, can or not? Thank you. Now we are also looking for volunteers to be our polling or counting agents at the voting centers. So we hope that you can take the time to be a part of this great movement, okay? And make history with us. If you are interested, please approach any SDP member wearing a red shirt or at the merchandise booth and register yourself, okay? Now, for our next speaker, Singaporeans, please warmly welcome our candidate for Bukit Batok SMC, Mr. Saraf Siva Beraya.
Thank you very much. Good evening, fellow citizens and my dearest friends. Para pemudik, saudara dan saudari, lagi kita ada 3 jam aja. Lepas itu tidak boleh kempen lagi. Kalau kita dapat menang bila kita masuk di dalam parlimen, kita boleh jadi suara anda di dalam parlimen. Jangan lupa, kalau PAP menang, susah nak tolong anda. Rakyat Singapura nak tunggu lagi 4 atau 5 tahun. Siapa nak jaga kehidupan kita? Itu yang soalan nombor 1. Memang rakyat Singapura dah faham apa yang halnya. Sebab itu, cakap pada kawan-kawan dan rakyat yang tinggal di tempat yang kita masuk calon, undi SDP. Baru kita boleh jagakan kehidupan anda di dalam parlimen. Kalau tidak, susah. So jangan lupa undi SDP. Undi SDP. Undi SDP untuk jaga kehidupan anda. Jangan lupa. Terima kasih. நண்பர்களே, வாக்காளர் பெருமக்களே, இன்னும் 3 மணி நேரத்தில் பிரச்சார கூட்டம் முடிவடைகிறது. இதற்கு பிறகு நாங்கள் எதுவும் செய்ய முடியாது. நீங்கள் முடிவெடுத்து எங்களை நாடாளுமன்றத்திற்கு அனுப்பினால் உங்கள் பிரச்சனைகளை தீர்க்க நாங்கள் பாடுபடுவோம். உங்களுக்காக குரல் கொடுக்க நாங்கள் பாடுபடுவோம். அதற்கு நான் ஏற்கனவே வாக்குறுதி கொடுத்து விட்டேன். மறந்து விடாதீர்கள். அவர் சொன்னார், இவர் சொல்றார் என்று அவர்களுடைய பிரச்சாரத்தை நம்பி ஆளுங்கட்சிக்கு நீங்கள் வாக்களித்தால் அடுத்த 4 அல்லது 5 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு நீங்கள் சந்திக்கக்கூடிய கஷ்டங்களை தீர்ப்பதற்கு வேறு வழி இல்லை. நாங்கள் ஒன்றும் செய்ய இயலாது. நினைவில் கொண்டு எங்களுக்கு வாக்களித்து எங்களை நாடாளுமன்றத்திற்கு அனுப்ப முயற்சி செய்யுங்கள். உங்களால் முடிந்த அளவுக்கு உங்கள் நண்பர்களிடம், உறவினர்களிடம் எங்களுக்கு வாக்களிக்க சொல்லுங்கள். எங்களுக்காக நீங்கள் இந்த முயற்சியை செய்தால் உங்களை காப்பதற்கு நாங்கள் இருக்கிறோம் என்பதை மறந்துவிடாதீர்கள். SDP-க்கு வாக்களியுங்கள். SDP-க்கு வாக்களியுங்கள். SDP-க்கு வாக்களியுங்கள். நன்றி. Dear friends, thank you very much for being patient. You have been very wonderful. All these days for the campaign, you have given us a lot of encouragement. You have given us a lot of motivation. All we are requesting you, if you want your future and your children's future and your grandchildren's future to be safe, select into the parliament. We will be the voice. The PAP MPs and ministers claim SDP wants to get into parliament. They are trying their level best to get into parliament. That is what reported in the papers. We are not denying that. I am telling you today, yes, the 11 candidates that SDP has fielded, we want to get into parliament. Not for the money. Let them be reminded. Not for the money. It's because we want to be your voice in the parliament. That is what we are fighting for. If we are not in the parliament, we can only sit in the coffee shop to talk about the problem. That is exactly what we can do. We can't find solution. As I said the other day, SDP stands for 3 C's. Remember that. We are very concerned about you. We care for you. We are committed to find solution for your problem. That is what we are fighting for. It is in your hands Your future is in your hands. It's not with the PAP. They can claim that they have done all these wonderful things, but they do not have the right to claim, because all these things, achievements, were done by the previous PAP party. Don't you think so? The present day PAP is no longer committed. They are no longer concerned. During my walkabout, I managed to cover 70 to 80% of households. My sincere apologies to those who are residing in Bukit Timah. It's so unfortunate that I could not meet. It's about 30% of those who are residing. The simple reason, the 9 days campaign is not sufficient. PAP knows if they give us another few more days, PAP may lose. That is why they are trying to shorten it. However, within the 9 days, I'm very thankful we managed to meet as many citizens as possible. I've understood their problems. And the beauty of it is that there was one gentleman who came and approached me. He gave me the set of documents. He doesn't want his name to be known. He gave me the set of documents. Those who are residing in Bukit Batok knows. The town council increased the cost, yes or no? You go and check. When they increased the cost, this gentleman has written to JTC, Jurong Town Council, asking why they increased. And at the same time, he has compared the other town council, how much was the increase. Shows $132 or something. Whereas in Bukit Batok, $300. So he has raised the question. He gave me all the documents, I went through the documents. The JTC, the Jurong Town Council reply was very simple. It's because Bukit Batok is very old estate. The upgrading cost, all that I'm asking is, this gentleman who wrote was not your member of parliament. You voted David. David only supposed to be the one to fight for you. He was not. I went through the letters. This gentleman has written even to the member of parliament. Nothing has been done. That is why I said here, at this platform, I'm thanking him. He has been a wonderful citizen of Singapore. He has been a wonderful resident of Bukit Batok. He was willing to fight for you. So, that is a simple message. So, dearest friends, this is an opportunity for you. Vote for SDP. Let us be in the parliament so that we check the PAP. Please. PAP stand for no longer that is applicable. Right? All they are asking is what you have to do. People got to vote for another party. You understand? You got to vote for another party. They are asking you to vote for another party. Choice is yours. Dearest friends, fellow Singaporeans, please give us a chance to be in the parliament, to be a voice. Right? Vote for SDP. Vote for SDP. Vote for SDP. Thank you very much. Good night.
谢谢桑达先生。
Thank you, Mr. Sarasingo.
我发觉到在我旁边这边挤满了很多人，你们可不可以向前面移呢？这边前面还有很大的空位。
Yes, we have got a lot of space in the center, so please try to compact with the center so the people on the sides can have space to come in. Okay, thank you so much.
接着要介绍的就是裕华单选区的候选人，她就是吴慧玲女士。
Give it up for candidate for Yuhua SMC, Miss Justin Wu Hui Ling.
This is Happy TV reporting from Clementi, where the SDP is holding its final rally. You can see quite a big crowd in front of the stage right now.
I heard that. I love you too. Fellow Singaporeans, residents of Holland-Bukit Timah, and my dear friends from Malaysia, thank you for coming to our SDP final rally. Thank you for braving the hate to be with us here today. 新加坡的同胞们，荷兰五级芝马的居民们，你们晚上好。谢谢大家冒着空气污染来到新加坡民主党最后一天的群众大会。每次朋友向我打招呼的时候，都会问我好食不？
我死掉了。
不过我时常都回答他们：食袂饱，腰袂死。Even I might sound like I am joking, but this is the sad reality of many fellow Singaporeans. Yes, for the past few days, our opponent has been accusing us of leading the country to the slippery slope of bankrupting Singapore with our proposed policies like healthcare and minimum wage. If having minimum wage, better healthcare for the citizens is a slippery slope of no return, then what do they have to say about being paid, being the highest paid Prime Minister, President, and the whole Cabinet Minister in the world? Their salary won't bankrupt us, but better life for Singapore would. Is it right? My party colleague, Ms. Chong Wai Fang, candidate for Holland-Bukit Timah, mentioned in her rally speech that she is very careful of signing checks, and not even the secretary of our party can get away with it. As assistant treasurer and head of fundraising in SDP, I'm always very careful of how our money is spent in the party. Every brochure we print, every contractor we engage, it must be within and not over the budget. Nobody in the party get away with spending and bursting the budget. Yet, on many occasions, PAP has exceeded the budget. I take, for example, the YOG. It was over budget by 200 million. This not only shows the incompetency of the PAP, that they can't even keep to their budget. Yet, we are entrusting them to run the country's money. And may I remind you that that also didn't bankrupt Singapore. 从提名日到现在最后一天的竞选活动，一路走来，有居民送上一盘水果，答谢我们的努力。一位支持者送上一包糖果来鼓励我2位小朋友，因为妈妈在参选而没办法陪他们。还有另外一位居民跑来给我一个红包，红包里不是一叠的钞票，而是比金钱还要可贵的祝福和关怀。裕华小贩们在所送上的咖啡和汽水，这些都是让我很感动的。你们的祝福，我心里我也收到了。居民们的鼓励，给我莫大的推动力。我会加油，不会让你们失望的。As we come towards the end of our election campaign, I would like to specially mention my heartfelt gratitude towards my election agent Christopher Ang for leading my campaign team on the walkabout and house visit. Even though we have no media to follow us to show that we are hard at work, but it's okay. My campaign teammates have been working very hard to cover as many house visits as we can. Yesterday, my teammates, Sam and Watershed, actually went to house visits from 10:30 after our walkabout till 9 p.m., while another group of us went to Ivory Heights. The dedication of my campaign teammates really touches me. The FPP has nothing to offer to them in return. No privileges, no free car park, no priority in primary school. Yet, these people, these volunteers, sacrifice their morning and evening and weekends to volunteer for the party. My fellow Singaporeans, this is what I call sacrifice.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. The PAP MP and minister have no moral authority to tell us about their sacrifices when they are overly compensated with their high salary. Our opponents gave excuse that we have no proven track record while they are talking about their past achievements. Let me name you a few of their proven track record. High COE, high minister salary, high cost of living, high HDB housing, frequent train breakdown, high minimum sum for CPF. The FPP has alternative policies researched and written on these issues. Auntie and uncle, công thức kim, xì lăng nghề lui. Mình chú tông, ai làm dính, có tập hệ ý chun, chính phủ, hình tô tầng, lăng nghề công thức kim. 生活费不断的上涨，使人民都受不了。民主党有替代的政策，如取消必需品的消费税，实行最低的工资等等。民主党也希望看到全民上下健康、幸福，而不是一个拥挤不堪的岛国，一个充数这资历不足的外国人跟我们竞争工作的地方。要实行全民健康、幸福的这个目标，民主党会致力于推动优先聘用新加坡人的雇用政策。Every election, carrots will be dangled to the residents. Some are even threatened that if you do not vote for them, your estate will not enjoy the upgrading program. I am very happy that this great school agree with me that whether you vote for PAP or SCP, the upgrading plan for Yuhua Estate, which is part of nation building, will be carried out. She, however, cautioned that only the PAP is able to communicate with the government agency. I'm sure this is not true, because government agencies should be independent and non-partisan. We can only ask that you trust us. Give us a chance to prove to you. Dear voters, if you've seen how the PAP has worked hard to compete with us to win your vote, you can be assured how much harder they will work if you send me into parliament. The FCC will be your voice in parliament the next 5 years and beyond. Parliament needs a strong opposition like the FPP to make sure that we do not continue to give the PAP a blank check. I promise you, when voted in, I will be a full-time MP, dedicating my time to serve the residents of Singapore. It has been a very for believing in me, my colleagues who have been working very hard behind the scenes, supporters who attended our rallies from as far as Pasir Ris. Thank you. Other than needing you to vote to help us into our cause, I'm also appealing for volunteers to aid us as polling and counting agents on polling day. Please approach our members at the merchandise booth to register. We are also appealing for your contribution to help us in our campaign. This journey is not over on Friday. We still have a long way to go. We have to start our work for the next GE as soon as this election is over. Your every purchase and contributions at our merchandise booth will definitely help us to be your voice in Parliament the next 5 years and beyond. Vote SDP. Send our 11 candidates to Parliament. 9月11号，请投我一票，请投我们民主党一票，把我们送入国会。谢谢大家。
Thank you, Ms. Singo, for that wonderful, heartfelt speech. Now, I see some Singaporeans on the bridge. Can you hear me? Please wave. Hands. All right, thank you. Okay, I've got a quick announcement, okay? Mr. Lionel Lo Wei Jie, I think you dropped your SAF card. Okay, so if you don't want to get in trouble. It's okay, we got it, all right? So if you want to get it, please come to the back of the stage and collect it from us, okay? It's safe with us. And now for our next speaker. Are you ready for the next speaker? All right. Please put your hands together and warmly welcome our candidate for Bukit Panjang SMC, Mr. Jairus Kam Wei In.
Hello, good evening, fellow Singaporeans. Good evening, residents of Holland-Bukit Timah. Hello, I know today is a little wet, and I'm very, very happy to see you all here. I'm Kong Hua Yin, the candidate for Bukit Panjang SMC. Yesterday, we are really working very hard to reach out to all our voters, residents in the constituencies that we are contesting in, and we don't really have time to catch up with the news. So what happened is that yesterday it was brought to my attention that in the Straits Times there were no less than 4 articles in Straits Times alone slamming the SDP for proposing populist policy that they claim is not in Singaporeans' best interest. I have just got to ask this. Is it not in Singaporeans' best interest to return the CPF to the member when he reached 55 years old? Is it not in Singaporeans' best interest to lower the cost of public housing to make it more affordable? Is it not in Singaporeans' best interest to make healthcare affordable? Is it not in Singaporeans' best interest to have a more balanced parliament where there are diverse views and robust debates? Singaporeans, do you want these policies to be enacted in parliament? Then please vote for us. Put us into parliament. Not so many days ago, we have our Minister of Environment and Water Resources, Mr. William Balakrishnan. He criticized our policy, saying that it is tax and spend. And Minister of State, Ms. Grace Wu, echoes by saying that our policies are spend, spend, and spend. Even Deputy Prime Minister Daman, who I have got great respect for, chipped in and he said that there is no country in the world that has been able to provide something for everyone without raising taxes. I am not so well in this financial matters, because I'm an engineer background, so maybe allow me to borrow answers from someone who have got a higher credential. Former GIC chief economist, Mr. Yeo Lam Pyong, he feels that the social welfare scheme, workfare income supplement, and silver support scheme, which the PAP government claim are effective targeted programs which will improve the poor and desolated, as well as the elderly. But sadly, it is inadequate by about 3 times. And he feels that we can fund such social programs using our very conservative annual structure budget surplus, coupled with effective prioritization of the budget. And he also called for greater transparency in terms of Singapore fiscal resources, so that think tanks, economists, and financial market analysts can come up with the best program, best budget, allocation, priority for Singaporeans. Now, election time. Don't believe me. Don't believe the PAP. But Mr. Yeo Lam Pyong, you dak che, to say that we will sacrifice the long-term interests of Singaporeans when we are elected is totally unfounded. Anyway, just for argument's sake, let's take a look at some of the policies that we have suggested and see how dangerous it is. Minimum wages. SDP proposes minimum wages in 2001. PAP response. Minister Lim Swee Say, the very heng minister, he criticized and says that the minimum wage will erode Singapore's competitiveness. Then what happened? The government introduces the progressive wage model, where some of the low-income workers are paid a minimum wage of $1,000 in 2013. Universal healthcare. SDP proposes risk pooling of individual healthcare. And what happened? PAP criticized. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew said that nobody derails the idea of having individual accounts for CPF and Medisave. Whatever you earn is yours. But then what happened? PAP copies. MediShield Life now says that everyone shares in national risk pool. Singaporean first policy. SDP, we propose that employers must try to hire Singaporeans first before employing foreigners. The PAP criticized. Senior Minister of State Amy Khor says that such a policy will not work. Then what happened? MOM introduced the Fair Compensation Framework in 2014, which requires employers to consider Singaporeans fairly before hiring employment pass holders. These are changes in the right direction, and we are happy that PAP is implementing these things. And what I'm saying is that PAP should not discredit SDP for the proposal. At least stop propagating lies that we are going to harm Singaporeans, and then turn around and start implementing all the solutions that we have proposed. I would like to also respond to the comments that we at the SDP have no plans at the municipal level. We believe that the best people to tell us about the needs and wants of the residents are the residents themselves. As such, we have designed the SDP Town Council plan to include holding a quarterly town hall meeting with the residents and involve the residents in the formulation and implementation of plans that will affect them on a daily basis. It is my wish that residents are involved when making municipal decisions. Please, dear friends, supporters, undecided voters, I urge you, go to our website, yoursdp.org, to read more about our proposal, understand what we stand for. Why do we have such passion for our party when others discount and criticize us? Go to our candidate profile and understand more about us personally. But most importantly, share the link with your friends. Spread the message out. Thank you. We also require polling and counting agents to assist to ensure that we have a fair and transparent election. Please, I urge everybody, please volunteer your time with us for that critical one day. Please approach any of our volunteers in the SDP uniform to join us. Thank you. My friends, residents in Holland-Bukit Timah, Marsiling UT, Bukit Batok, Bukit Panjang, and Yu Hua, this election is going to have a very far-reaching effect. It will affect policy making for the next 5 years and beyond. We don't have many 5 years. So please, consider carefully, think about it carefully. Do we want a balanced parliament? Then please, cast your vote for a party that can do this. And give us a chance to raise your concern in parliament. Let us be a voice in parliament. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khan.
接着要介绍的是马基里游池的候选人，他就是达曼独立先生。
Please put your hands together for our candidate for Master Duty GRC, Mr. Damarhuri bin Abbas.
Dear respected Singaporean voters, first, sorry, my voice is losing. Friday is polling day. Singaporeans like you and I will have the chance to elect the leaders to lead Singapore for the next 4 to 5 years. We are almost at the end of this campaign, and much compliment is due to all volunteers in SDP who work tirelessly to support our candidates. And a big thank you too to all the people who have filled up our rallies over the last 9 days. Your amazing support has energized us to push on these 9 days of campaigning. Thank you very much. Allow me to spend a few moments to address you in Malay. Salam sejahtera. Malam ini kita mengakhiri kempen pilihan raya 2015. Kami di SDP dan saya secara pribadi mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua yang memberi sokongan dan dokongan yang begitu terharu kepada usaha kita di SDP. Semoga anda semua diberkati oleh Ilahi dan dianugerahkan suatu yang terbaik untuk masa depan kita semua di negara Singapura yang tercinta ini. Sepanjang kempen pilihan raya ini, SDP telah timbulkan beberapa isu masyarakat Melayu yang menjadi keprihatinan kita, dan ini telah SDP teraskan dalam kertas polisi SDP untuk masyarakat Melayu. Kertas polisi SDP adalah hasil daripada maklum balas langsung yang diperolehi daripada beberapa anggota masyarakat kita yang dikenali daripada beberapa lapisan masyarakat. Jika kami diizinkan Ilahi dan melalui undi anda dilantik sebagai wakil rakyat anda di parlimen, kertas polisi SDP itu akan menjadi dasar pegangan parti dalam menangani isu masyarakat Melayu di parlimen. Semoga SDP dapat menjalankan amanah ini dengan penuh tanggungjawab dan kejujuran. Sering apabila masyarakat Melayu menimbulkan isu-isu yang dekat di hati masyarakat, jawapan pemerintah sangat tidak memuaskan. Soalan-soalan itu tidak dijawab, dan sebaliknya mereka hanya mengelak dengan alasan isu ini sensitif. Sedihnya ini berlaku lagi semalam. Jika seorang menteri terus memberi alasan yang sama bertahun-tahun kepada permintaan kaum Hawa yang ingin bertudung bahawa itu adalah permintaan yang sensitif dan tidak boleh dibincang secara terbuka, mungkin sudah tiba masanya menteri atau menteri-menteri itu mengundur saja dan tidak menghindari pihak-pihak lain yang lebih berani dan sanggup menimbulkan isu-isu ini di parlimen. Kerana setiap kali mereka memberi jawapan mereka itu, ia hanya menimbulkan kemarahan masyarakat Melayu yang merasakan menteri-menteri ini terus memperlekehkan maruah jururawat wanita Melayu Islam yang ingin menutup auratnya. Kenapakah isu-isu ini dikaitkan dengan keprihatinan terhadap kebangkitan Islam dan perkara-perkara yang sewaktu dengannya? Jawapan terhadap diskriminasi tidak diberi. Sebaliknya, kita ditegur untuk bersyukur kerana pemerintah telah banyak melakukan untuk orang Melayu. Ini semua tak ada kena-mengena langsung dengan isu yang ditimbulkan. Isunya ialah diskriminasi. Itu saja. Kenapa agaknya menteri-menteri ini susah sangat nak faham? Kami di SDP yakin bahawa rakyat Singapura dari semua kaum, tak kira Cina, Melayu dan India, sangat prihatin terhadap berlakunya diskriminasi kepada masyarakat Melayu. Dan mereka menyokong usaha SDP untuk menghapuskan diskriminasi dari masyarakat Singapura. Tempoh hari waktu saya menimbulkan isu tudung dalam rapat pertama kami di Chua Chu Kang Stadium. Selepas rapat, saya sempat bersalaman dengan hadirin yang datang ke rapat kami itu. Ramai orang Cina yang salam saya dan dengan nada yang penuh simpati memberitahu saya dengan jelasnya bahawa mereka tidak setuju dengan berlakunya diskriminasi ini. Ada yang juga marah apabila mengetahui bahawa perasaan kaum Cina yang kononnya akan tersinggung digunakan sebagai alasan untuk tidak membincangkan dan menghapuskan polisi yang bersifat diskriminasi ini. Untuk menteri-menteri Melayu ini, saya ada satu perumpamaan khusus untuk mereka daripada masyarakat Melayu. Perumpamaan itu ialah harapkan pagar makan padi. Semoga mereka sedar betapa kecewanya masyarakat Melayu terhadap kewibawaan mereka sebagai pemimpin Melayu parti pemerintah. Kita perlukan suara alternatif di parlimen untuk menimbulkan isu-isu diskriminasi terhadap masyarakat Melayu di Singapura ini, dan itu hanya boleh berlaku jika terdapat anggota pembangkang yang ramai dan berani di parlimen. Undilah kami, undilah SDP supaya kami menjadi suara rakyat di parlimen. Terima kasih. I will now continue in English. I am new to politics. However, I am not new to the issues that Singaporeans is concerned with, that SDP is championing as a voice of the people. SDP has worked and produced comprehensive alternative policies for education, economy, healthcare, housing and others. Throughout the last 9 days, we tried our best to share as much as we could at the rallies and online those alternative policies with the hope that Singaporeans going to the polls would be informed about SDP and make an informed choice in their voting. In this election, SDP presents to you the voters of the GRCs and the SMCs that we are contesting, individuals with various experiences and expertise ranging from psychology, medical, counseling, social work, management, among others. The common thread between us is our love for Singapore and the people in this place we call home. We present ourselves before you with all our credentials and heart and offer our service to be your servants in Parliament. Led by Dr. Chee Soon Juan, Professor Paul Tapia, Chong Wai Fong and Sidek for Holland-Bukit Timah, GRC, then Joan Tan, Brian Lim, and Dr. Wong, Suk Yi and I for Marsiling and UT GRC, and Jairus for Bukit Panjang, Sarah Sivan for Bukit Batok, and Jaslyn Go for Yuhua and SMC. These are the group of people that SDP offers to you. Given this new group of people and a new set of alternative policies we offer, it does not mean that Singapore cannot be a better place than now, as implied by the PAP. When they harp about the danger of voting the opposition into Parliament, implying that the economy, social stability, etc. will be at risk. This is not true. Whatever social, economic and political problem we Singaporeans face before and now are actually directly caused by the leaders and the policies of the PAP. Therefore, we urge Singaporeans not to be swayed by the fear argument that is coming fast and furious as we reach the finishing line of this campaigning from the PAP. My fellow Singaporeans, the future of this nation is in your hands. We can choose to take the tough but high road to make us proud as citizens of a free and open nation, or we can choose to let it be business as usual. We seek your support to brave the way forward with us in our nation's next journey. have the peace of mind and the clarity of heart to cast your vote for the future of the next generation, that their right as citizens are regained to live with dignity and without fear in our beloved country. Let SDP be your voice in Parliament. Vote for SDP. Vote for the next generation. Wadulah Singapura. On one last note, we are still very short-handed for polling agents. We need all your support to volunteer to be our polling agent, to help us man the polling centers on polling day. There are 2 shifts on that day. Do come forward and volunteer by registering yourself at the SDP merchandise tent. Thank you very much. Happy voting. Vote for SDP.
Thank you, Mr. Darwin. Now, fellow Singaporeans, please put your hands together to welcome our next candidate for Marsiling UT GRC, Mr. Brian Lim.
Can the people at the back hear me? Good. Dear voters of Holland-Bukit Timah, GRC, and supporters, how are you? Well, I don't feel good. I wrote my speech at 3 a.m. this morning because I could not sleep. I fallen ill yesterday, and after some self-medication, I still could not have my 40 wings. I initially wanted to talk about my political journey tonight, how I developed interest in politics at a young age of 8, how I felt insulted by the PAP's graduate mother scheme because my mother is an illiterate, and my personal encounters with the mainstream media and how they have distorted facts to make the SDP look bad. However, I decided to shelve these stories for another day, for I find it rather disturbing if I don't tell you stories which are more important than my own. My insomnia was not only down to my illness, but also due to those images which have flashed across my mind during the 9 days of campaigning. They are images of our volunteers working tirelessly day and night to ensure that we run an effective campaign. The perambulator drivers, the merchandise sellers, the ushers during the rallies, the logistic guys who help to set up the rally stage and take it down each night so that you'll be ready for the next day. I've also not forgotten those who have woken up early in the morning, daily, to join the candidates for their meet and greet sessions, their walkabouts and house visits, and those who have pounded the staircases day in, day out, so that our flyers reach the doorsteps of our constituents. I could not sleep well because these volunteers have so much pent-up frustration in their stomachs, but do not have an avenue to voice out their point of discontent. They are angry because Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan said there are only 2 types of people who will serve at zero cost: the wealthy or the corrupt. I could not sleep well because the volunteers have told me they felt insulted by Dr. Balakrishnan's remarks. Thus, I would like to take this opportunity to mention the names of some of our volunteers and the sacrifices that they have made. Please remember, my friends, that this list is by no means exhaustive. First guy I want to mention, his name is Lim Kian Cheng. Kian Cheng quitted his full-time job because he would like to contribute more to our campaign. He found it hard to juggle his full-time job with his volunteer work with SDP. So he decided to opt for the latter because he feels that the cause is more worthy. Now, Ken Cheng is neither rich nor corrupt. The second group of person who I would like to mention is Mr. Matthew Tan, one of my ground operations unit deputies. Our CC member Gerald Sung, and candidate for Yuhua SMC Jesslyn Goh. Their parents were hospitalized during these past 3 weeks of campaigning, and they had to shuttle constantly between the hospitals and the party office. Now, they are neither rich nor corrupt too. Thirdly, I'd like to mention Nina, a resident of UT, who volunteered with her husband Yuso. Nina fell off the stairs, sprained her hand, and vomited while distributing the flyers of my GRC team in Woodlands. Her medical bills came up to about $100. Well, the couple is by no means rich or corrupt. Next, Do Chin Hee, my election agent. Mr. To drives a cab and shuffles me around so that I can be on time for the morning meet and greet sessions, my walkabouts, house visits, and meetings. When he's not driving me around, Mr. To will be keeping himself busy at our merchandise stores or carrying staff in our party office. My friends, he has lost a significant amount of income during the campaign period. He's definitely not rich nor corrupt. Lastly, Clarence Sung, one of my ground operations unit deputies, who basically runs the show with Matthew Tan in my absence, in order to ensure that everything runs smoothly, from coordinating the flyer distribution, mounting and dismounting of posters, organizing walkabouts and house visits, scheduling the perambulator drivers, hanging banners in the constituencies in the wee hours of the morning. Clarence has to spend his nights in the party office. Clarence is so dedicated and committed that his mom asked him if he remembers that he has a home to return to. And most importantly, his mom asked him if he remembers her birthday, which was last Saturday. I personally can vouch that Clarence is neither wealthy or corrupt. So, Dr. Balakrishnan, our volunteers and I are hugely offended by what you have said. Unlike you, we do not have the support of the mainstream media, which most obligingly carries your colleagues and you on the front page of the local newspapers and TV before, during, and after your campaign. Your running mate, Miss Sim N, easily dispels that the SDP is too lazy to do house visits when we haven't stopped walking the ground since the last GE. Now, for those who choose to believe in the mainstream media, our ground operations efforts for the past 4 years have gone down to waste. Unlike you, Dr. Balakrishnan, we do not have the financial muscle of your party to reach each and every household with your glossy-looking manifestos and candidate profile booklets. Unlike you, Mr. Dr. Balakrishnan, we do not have the ability to mobilize human resources on the PA, RC, CCC, and NTUC. who are willing to stand in the hot sun on nomination day for $50 and a PAP umbrella. So, Dr. Balakrishnan, our volunteers may not be rich, but they are certainly not corrupt. Wait, I may be wrong. Our volunteers may be indeed rich. They are rich because they strongly believe in the democratic principles of the SDP. Our volunteers are rich because they believe that the SDP truly espouses the fundamental values of our national pledge, and that is to build a democratic society based on justice and equality. Our volunteers are rich not only because they believe in the SDP's political cause, but also what the SDP stands for. They are rich because they know that the SDP is a competent, constructive, and compassionate party. Most importantly, our volunteers feel rich because they know that they have the support of you, my fellow Singaporeans. So, Dr. Balakrishnan, I'm sure both Miss Sim Ann and you are honorable men and women with a good heart. So please, tell us, you don't mean what you want to say or what you just said. Like your own volunteers who have worked tirelessly during the campaign, our volunteers deserve more credit than we candidates do. I'm sure, Dr. Balakrishnan, some of the volunteers share similar stories which have not been told. Dr. Balakrishnan, I would like to end my speech with a phrase from our national pledge, that regardless of whether we are PAP or SDP, we pledge ourselves as one united people. Majulah Singapura! Majulah Singapura! Majulah Singapura! Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lim.
谢谢李先生。油池集选区的候选人，他就是陈良玉先生。
Give it up for candidate from Boston UTGRC, Mr. John Tan.
Good evening. Dear friends, I want to thank you for all the expressions of support you have given me these 9 days. Thank you so much. During these 9 days of campaign, there are moments when I was so tired, I thought I want to collapse. But then someone would come up, takes my hand, and say, you will have all of my support. My family and I will vote for you. Magically, the tiredness just dissipated into the air. So thank you. Thank you so much. Just a few days ago, a person came up to me and said, I have no doubt whatsoever that the SDP will speak up for me in Parliament. But can the SDP run a town council? Of course, I explained to the person a little bit briefly, but then I told him to go to our website to check out our town council management plan for details. And I would urge you, ladies and gentlemen, to do the same as well, especially because I want you to know what we're offering, and I want you to monitor us to see if we are delivering our promises. I dare to say that because I'm confident in the competence of the SDP. And I want you to be confident in us too. In that management plan, we have spelled out a 30 days and a 100 days milestone for all to see and for all to monitor us. They cover, for example, the transition phase from one town council to another. Even as I speak right now, we are preparing our part in the transition process already. But this Friday, I need you to signal to the current town council to prepare theirs. In our plan, we have described the process of financial handover. Of course, we will hire a qualified certified public accountants, for example, to ensure that previous town council diligently hand over past years' audited financial statements, management accounts, and budgets. Of course, we will also ensure that all assets and liabilities, income, expenditures, bank accounts, and so forth are detailed. In our checklist, we will also include the breakdowns of government grants and existing contract for estate management. Whatever they have put in place now, by they I mean the current town council, of course we will continue that. But as that begins to wane off and the contracts finishes, we will allow our STB plans to then kick in. One thing you must note, and note it well, we will not outsource your town to a managing agent. Your residents, your community is too important for us to simply outsource it. Our MP, your MPs, will manage it with tender, loving care, putting your interest as our number one priority. What is truly unique about our plan for the town council is we want you to be involved in the running of the town council, including the voting in of your own town councillor. You will get a say on how you want your neighborhood to be run, right down to the very patch of grass on the walkway. The SDP strive to set new standard in town council management because we want you to be happy. The measurement of our success is the level of your happiness. Since we're talking about municipal issues, let me just talk about something that Mr. Lawrence Wong, my worthy opponent, promised. I know you don't like him, but don't let it show. Don't let it show. All right. Mr. Lawrence Wong recently promised UT residents that he will appeal to the Land Transport Authority to consider extending the downtown line so that UT residents can have a station nearby. A good promise, mind you, a good idea. Guess what? We will do that too, and then some. If the LTAs listens to him, they will listen to us too. There's nothing unique about that. We are confident that the LTA will not be partial. Residents of UT, you will get your transportation link fixed. I promise you. Friends, tonight is the last night of our campaign. This is our last rally for GE2015. Tonight is not the night to make more arguments about issues and policies. We have done that already. If by now you are still not convinced that the SDP is competent, constructive, and caring, if by now you are still not persuaded that we are on your side, then we have failed in these regards. But I don't think so. Because tonight, I need to measure the success of my campaign by the loudness of your cheer. My team needs you to tell us if we should go home with total confidence or not. Tonight, we need you to tell us one more time if you will vote for the SDP. Hari Jumat ini undilah SDP. SDP ke Wargalingga. Thank you. Thank you. One last time. You will vote for
This is Happy TV reporting from Clementi.
Thank you.
The rally is now past its halfway mark.
I don't need to do anything.
The field is quite crowded. You can see a lot of people standing on the overhead bridge nearby as well.
Mr. Derek Goh Soon Hee, you dropped your DPS card, so please. It's okay. Sometimes we drop balls in our life, you know, some more than others, like our PAP ministers. So, if you want your card, come to the backstage and collect it, okay? Now, for our next speaker. Are you ready? Please put your hands together and warmly welcome our candidate for the Holland-Bukit Timah GRC, Miss Chong Wai Fong.
Chong Wai Fong is quite well received by the crowd.
Para pengundi Holland-Bukit Timah GRC. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dasia Wansangha. I would like to thank some people here who have been coming to the rallies with us every night. Okay, for all the policemen here, uniform and not. And the team from IIC who's amongst us, thank you very much for your time here. You're doing a pretty good job, don't you agree? We have also received some feedback that some of our voters from Holland-Bukit Timah GRC have received a booklet about Mr. Kong Wai Yin, our candidate from Bukit Panjang SFC, instead of candidates for Holland-Bukit Timah GRC. You see, one of our supporters had kindly sponsored the outsourcing of the delivery of the booklets to a company that used the front two numbers of the postal code instead of the full postal code. As the boundaries of our GRCs are seemingly arbitrary, the company could not deliver the booklets to the specific blocks that we had specified. And I believe some voters from other areas have also received our booklets. We apologize for that mix-up, but we are really keen to have the booklets of the team from Holland-Bukit Timah GRC that comprises the four of us, Chee Soon Juan, Paul Tambaya, Sirit Malik, and myself. They are available at the merchandise booth, if it's still available, okay? There are not many left, but you can pick it up from the merchandise booth. Many of us are struggling to pay the high cost of our HDB flats, rising food and transport costs, the high medical costs, while at the same time facing stiff competition for jobs, and CPF money that is locked away where we are all. Our infrastructure is bursting at its seams with frequent train breakdowns. Our hospital beds are filled faster than they can be built. Singapore workers are the most unhappy in Asia. Our frail and elderly have to collect cardboard boxes to make some money. And the list goes on. Over the past 7 days, you have heard from the SDP team about the alternative ideas that we have to offer from a wide range of topics such as education, CPF, housing, the Malay community, population, cost of living, and healthcare. For each of these alternative policies, we have given details about the issues at stake. We want the government to be accountable to the people of Singapore. We want more transparency in how our money is invested and how policy decisions are made. Our policies are aimed at making housing more affordable to all Singaporeans so that we do not have to spend a lifetime paying off our loans. Our healthcare policy aims to keep healthcare affordable to all. We are not stopping anyone from getting healthcare from private hospitals if you can afford it. We say go for it. But for those who need help, we want to give the assurance that your healthcare costs will not ruin you financially. Many of you were informed that all these so-called SDP's dangerous and irresponsible proposals could bankrupt the country, ambush Singapore's sovereignty, burden the next generation, and lead to massive job losses. And what does the PAP promise? The PAP promised more of the same, even though you have been telling them that you do not want more of the same. You see, the PAP is not able to change. It is not in their DNA to listen to people. What the SDP is interested in, and I believe all Singaporeans out there is how do we preserve and strengthen our national identity in this increasingly globalized world? How do we raise our children, provide for our families, and grow old gracefully in this land that we call our home? Many policies have a huge impact on our lives, sooner or later. How do we make sure that our policies are in the best interest of Singaporeans? Only by having more opposition members in Parliament. Opposition members who are competent, constructive, and compassionate. On my way here just now, I called a friend who has generously donated to our election campaign. Yes, thank you to you for that. We had a nice conversation, and at the end of the conversation, I told him, come Friday, please vote wisely. And he lives in the Holland-Bukit Timah GRC. He laughed and said, "Aya, you want my vote? Just say so lah." So I told him, you, like all voters at Holland-Bukit Timah GRC, are an intelligent man, critical thinking, able to discern what's good and what's not for our future. I do not need to tell you how to vote, because deep down in your heart, you know that the SDP cares for you, not the PAP government. This election is certainly about our future. It is our future at stake here. That's why I chose to make a stand, to be a candidate at this general election. I believe that we can have a say in our future. I was inspired by Barack Obama, who said this: in the face of impossible odds, people who love this country can change it. I'm happy to be working with the elderly in a nursing home. The only reason that I'm willing to give that up is because I care, and because I believe that the SDP can make a difference. If you do not like the direction that the PAP government is leading us, don't just get angry and complain about it in the coffee shops. Do something about it. Stand up for what you believe in. For you have the power to make a difference with your vote. Do not let fear stop you from voting for the SDP. Vote for SDP for a better future. messages of support they've received from all of you. And we are extremely grateful for every act of kindness that each and every one of our friends and tireless volunteers have shown us. As the treasurer of SDP, thank you for all your support, as financially, especially throughout this campaign. But the campaign does not end here. We have a lot more work to do and bills to pay. So please, continue to contribute generously. And please volunteer your time to act as polling agents and counting agents. Thank you very much. Good night. SDP cash!
Thank you, Ms. Chong.
谢谢钟小姐。
Wow. How are you feeling? Good? Yeah. All right, I've got another quick announcement. I got this ANA mileage club card. Ping Yuan, Chen Ping Yuan, you drop your card. Yeah, so if you guys want to donate money, don't just throw it on the floor. Go to the merchandise booth and give us your cards. Just kidding. So, if you want to collect your card, please go backstage. The card will be with the police officer, okay? So just check with any one of them, alright? So, who are you going to vote for? Who are you going to vote for? Who are you going to vote for? Give yourself a round of applause. Alright, we got Mr. Dr. Tan Ching Bob right in front. Everyone give it a big round of applause. Supporting us all the way.
接着要介绍的是华南五级芝麻集选区的候选人大马亚博士。
Rally now approaching its final hour. The rally grounds are very packed and the spirits are high. The crowds are cheering and encouraging him to be the next health minister.
Thank you all very much for coming. I'd like to thank especially the residents of Holland-Bukit Timah GRC, in particular someone who has really given his life for serving the people of Singapore, the former MP for Ayer Rajah, Dr. Tan Cheng Bock, one of our constituents. Friends and fellow Singaporeans, I want to thank you all for supporting us through the last 9 days. It has been really heartwarming, from the house visits, to the market visits, to the interaction at rallies, and to all your messages. I'm grateful for all the expressions of support I've received from so many of you. In particular, I'm grateful to all the volunteers, operations, logistics, and IT people who have put together this amazing campaign. I think it's quite universally acknowledged that given the limited resources, the SDP has the best run campaign this election season. Don't you agree? There are too many to name, but if you look at the AV tent, the people manning barricades, the merchandise stall, you know who I mean. Go up to them and say, thank you for standing up for democracy in Singapore. I'd like to begin my speech proper by addressing some of the issues raised yesterday by our worthy opponents from the PAP. Now, at the start, I'll say I'm proud that we have fought a clean and fair campaign this year. But please do not boo our opponents. If you really don't like them, just put a cross next to the rocket. That sends a much more powerful message. The PAP candidates are also Singaporeans who want to do something for Singapore. In fact, Ms. Sim Ann's husband is a doctor and a friend of mine. Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan was my senior in medical school, and we had a memorable inter-class debate when he was in final year and I was in second year. I'm not going to tell you how that debate turned out. But this time round, as he correctly pointed out, we're dealing with something a lot more important than a debate trophy. We're dealing with the issues that matter to Singaporeans, the direction in which our country is going to go, and whether the momentum built up from the watershed general election of 2011 can be carried forward to a more open, transparent, and accountable Singapore, or whether we'll regress again to a de facto one-party state. In this slide, I was quite sad to read on the front page of the new paper that Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan viewed opposition parties as intruders, trying to barge into the home that is occupied only by the PAP and the voters, whom he described as a married couple. I disagree. Singapore does not belong to the PAP. Singapore belongs to all Singaporeans, including the 40% of us who voted for the alternative parties in 2011. And the maybe 45% of us who will vote for the alternative parties on Friday. We are all Singaporeans, regardless of our political affiliation. We in the SDP will serve all our constituents if elected, including those who voted against us. As Dr. Chee said earlier, we have always believed in Singapore and in Singaporeans, even though you haven't elected any SDP candidate since 1991. We don't go around putting down Singaporeans, unlike some other political parties. As I told the Prime Minister during the IPS forum, when he alleged that Israelis are smarter than Singaporeans, I disagree. I think that Singaporeans are smarter than Israelis. At least we know how to live in peace with our neighbors. Tonight I would like to issue a special thank you to the PAP Holland-Bukit Timah team. And let me explain why. When we started this campaign, we found that less than 10% of voters knew anything about our SDP policies. Although we held public discussions, we published drafts and final versions on our website, it seemed like the average Singaporean had no idea about any of our policies. The mainstream media never covered them, and with only one exception, and that was a forum organized by Professor Tommy Koh, we could not get any PAP leaders to debate them at all. If we wanted to send out mailers to everybody in the district, it would have been really expensive. And you know there are more than 100,000 voters in Holland-Bukit Timah. Now, we discovered something. In the last 2 days, every single household in Holland-Bukit Timah has been provided with a document entitled Hard Truths About SDP's Policies. Funny, right? This contains 2-line summaries of some of our major policies in healthcare, housing, and the economy. And it's only missing the details of our town council management policy because maybe they couldn't download it in time. We are very grateful to the PAP for disseminating this information to every household in Holland-Bukit Timah. This is something we could never have afforded to do on the limited budget that we have here in the SDP. Thank you, Dr. Vivian, Discern, and company. Having said that, I would like to correct some misconceptions in the flyer. Firstly, as I mentioned earlier, Singapore's tax system is not really fair because the rich don't have to pay any estate duty, any capital gains tax, whereas the poor have to pay GST, even on the water conservation tax. They pay tax on tax. DPM government is taking steps to make this a bit more progressive by raising taxes on the top 5% of income earners in Singapore, which is only very slightly different from our plan, which is why he is our favorite minister. Secondly, as former GIC chief economist, Mr. Yo Lam Keong has pointed out, the STP's housing and healthcare plans can be financed without increasing the tax on the middle class by a more transparent accounting and tax structure. Thirdly, the flyer argues for keeping the CPF minimum sum. Now you know this figure will rise every year until 2020 when I turn 55, and it will be $90,500. For most Singaporeans, that's a significant amount of money. It's a hardship having all that money locked into CPF while the cost of living keeps rising. We believe that Singaporeans should be treated like adults. We know what to do with our own CPF money. In any case, the government is not going to bail us out, a handful of irresponsible seniors who waste their CPF money on wine, women, and karaoke. Fourthly, the flyer claims that the current 3M system works well for healthcare financing, and also that two-bedded wards are wasteful. I am an infectious disease physician, and I can tell you, in a world with SARS, MERS, multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, we are indeed taking some risks and putting huge stresses on our staff by keeping the large 6 and 8 bedded wards that we have. It is only the hard work and diligence of our nurses, our doctors, and our epidemiologists who prevent outbreaks of deadly infectious diseases in our local hospitals. So the 3 M's. Thanks to a parliamentary question in 2013, we now know that of the total of $13 billion of national healthcare expenditure, government subsidies account for about $4 billion. The 3 M's of many fund, many save, and many stay healthy. Your genes and your environment are beyond your control. So we feel it's not morally right to punish people for being sick. Fifthly, the flyer claims that a non-open market housing system will penalize homeowners who are trying to monetize their flats. Again, I think they're not clear on the concept. Most of us only own one apartment. That is the apartment in which we grew up, our children grow up, and we want to retire. It is not for speculation. Sell it back to the HDB so that a young couple can have the same opportunity to live the same dreams that we did. Sixthly, and this is very interesting, the polyclinics will be built regardless of who is in charge of the ward. As I said yesterday, the PAP is neither all-powerful nor is it evil. The taps will still run, the traffic lights will still work, the lifts will still go up and down. Argument 11. There's no down, even if we propose them as bills in Parliament. We would like to use the policies based on international best practices as benchmarks to hold the government accountable. And that is the role of a responsible, competent, constructive, and compassionate opposition party, which the SDP promises you that we will be. We ask you to hold us accountable. We will have regular meetings with our constituents where you can bring up issues and use our own policies to see whether we walk the talk. We will modify our policies if the situation changes or if there's significant feedback from the people who put us in Parliament. Why then do you need our policies in Parliament? You have seen for yourselves how the government has become more sensitive to the gaps in social spending and income inequality after the 2011 election. The PAP MPs who dominate the chamber are very talented individuals. Many of them are scholars with outstanding track records in public service. But what is missing in the PAP? You're right. Was actually highlighted during a recent debate organized by Mr. Sadasivan. His website, Inconvenient Questions. The audience was asked, what was their wish for those in government. And one of the participants said, and this was interesting, she said she wished that they would dress down in disguise and live among the ordinary people for 1 or 2 weeks. Don't you agree? Good idea, right? I agreed with her. In fact, I have a standing offer to any senior officer I meet. I tell them, disguise yourselves as one of the junior college students that I take on my job shadowing while I'm doing rounds at any random date, and follow me on the ward round in the C-class ward in any public hospital. I guarantee these officials that what they experience will speak much more to them than any of the statistics and papers that their staff officers generate from them. This is what the people want from their leaders. Not to come around once every 4 or 5 years and ask them how they're doing, shake their hand, ask them to vote for them. This is what we in the opposition live through every day. I am probably the only one in the SDP slate of candidates who comes from the senior ranks of academia or public service. And my excuse is that I still do rounds on C-class wards on a regular basis. During my leave from the hospital these 3 weeks, however, I have continued to encounter people in need. One such person I encountered yesterday during a walkabout at Adam Road Food Center. She's a retired teacher, and she knew our family well. So she asked me, why are you doing this? I thought she was a PAP supporter and asking me why I didn't join the PAP. I said to her, it was because of the people I encounter every day in hospital who enjoy good medical care but struggle to pay the bills. I told her that it probably didn't apply to her, that she had the CSC card, they call it the gold card, and that she's a Division 1 pensioner. But she stopped me and she related her experience. I knew that she had cancer, but she told me that she needed a special kind of medical device that was not covered by the CSC card, and it had to be imported. So that meant that every month she had to pay more than $1,000 in cash. So she's 80 years old and retired. She asked the hospital for help, and they suggested that she go and see her MP. So she went to see her MP in the now defunct Mumeng Kalang GRC to ask for a discount. She didn't get to see the MP, but the official who saw her apparently told her that she should sell her house and downgrade to an HDB flat. That was her reaction. She was indignant. She said she was 80 years old and had lived in that simple house since the day she was married. She told me she walked out of the room in despair, and she encouraged me to continue speaking up for the voiceless, the elderly, the poor, and the sick. That is what this election is about. Singaporeans who are not scholars or successful entrepreneurs, it's about those of us who are not the natural aristocrats. The Prime Minister made an unprecedented apology in Boat Key in 2011. I was listening yesterday to see whether he'll make another one. He didn't. It's time to look objectively at the promises that were made as part of that apology. Ask yourself, are your children less stressed by the education system? Are you spending less on tuition and childcare? Are the trains less crowded? Are you more able to pay for healthcare for yourself and your parents? Are you more secure that your job will not be taken away from you and given to someone who's willing to work for less? If the answer to any of those questions is no, then we still need more alternative voices in Parliament to provide independent checks on our government. More than that, we need voices with values. We in the SDP believe in you, the people of Singapore. We believe that people are more important than profits. Many of you feel disempowered. You're afraid of speaking up every day. You're worried that your boss or somebody else will tekan you or will mark you. On Friday, you have a chance. It comes only once every 4 or 5 years. You have a chance to speak up and let your voice be heard. You have a chance to show the government that the people should not be afraid of the government. The government should be afraid of the people. In the sanctity and in the secrecy of the ballot booth, you can make a choice. You can send a powerful message. Please vote for us so that we can be your voice in Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Holland-Bukit.
谢谢巴马亚博士。
Wow. Great speech. All right, I've got an announcement. Dr. Chee will be doing autograph session later, somewhere in front of the stage. So please form an orderly line when it starts, because we have a lot of elderly in our and also children, so we have to be careful about that.
待会儿我们将会有一项小小的书籍签名活动，散会后请不要走开哦。
Okay, for our next candidate. Now, I can talk about his doctorate in neuropsychology, or the fact that he lectured at NUS, or the many international awards and accolades for his human rights work and social causes. But all of that is not important. No. The important thing is he gave and is still giving his all for this country. That he is willing to take the punches from the bully so that the marginalized and oppressed, the poor and the broken in our society have a voice. He taught us how politics should be conducted in Singapore, and through his own actions have shown the true measure and strength of his character. So strong that not even the mighty state machinery can break. Now many of us today think that he has changed. He didn't change. We did. Because he showed us the way. It has been my greatest pleasure, pride and honor to present to you our last candidate for this evening, Dr. Chee Soon Juan.
And the crowd is now standing up and cheering for Dr. Chee Soon Juan. He's most likely the last speaker for tonight. It's Happy TV, we are reporting from Clementi, where SDP is holding its last rally for the general elections.
我们现在有一位支持者想要献花给徐博士。
One supporter is now putting a garland on Dr. Chee Soon Juan.
Thank you very much. 各位同胞，大家好。我25年前参加民主党，我只有一个目标，那就是为我们人民服务。 25年后，我这个目标没有变，我还是想为人民服务、为社会服务，进入国会替你们发言。我以前是在新加坡国大当讲师，参加这民主党以后，被开除，但是我不后悔，没有后悔， 为什么呢？因为我在国大的时候当讲师，我只有一些学生，但是我来参加政治，参加民主党以后，我有大家你们。外了解，让少年时阵辛辛苦苦做工，做到咱的国家安尼成功。咱老了，国家政府应该会晓顾人，但是政府部长你就袂晓顾家己，为人的苦力工就会晓去。咱的苦力工一直甲咱压死，无理由。咱即阵社会安尼动，政府部长每一个百万富翁，安怎了解咱的坎坷呢？安怎了解咱的烦恼？你食一杯咖啡就要苦贵，你食一顿早餐、午餐要2-3块，你拿50块去巴萨买2项物件，转来就去开了了。我人民主党，我人会了解，所以我讲，我人希望有一个会替你们发言，但是呢，我们没有办法帮助你们，我们无力。如果你们没有投我们的票，所以你们这个星期五这个拜五来好好，你去投票迄阵，爱去爱投民主党的票，投咱火箭的票，好不好？投咱的票，好不好？让我们来替你们发言，支持我们民主党，投我们的票。谢谢大家，当选呢，祝你们身体健康，祝你们心肺健康，谢谢，谢谢你们。Friends, fellow Singaporeans, this last week has been absolutely exhilarating, for me at least. I had this wonderful opportunity to connect with all of you again after all these years. I have used this important occasion to highlight crucial issues which affect your lives, issues which have burdened you for many years. More importantly, my fellow candidates and I have presented you specific policy proposals which will help make life less burdensome for you. Our policies take one and only one factor into our considerations, and that is your well-being. We know that you are struggling to meet with your living expenses. We know that you're competing in an overcrowded city to get a job, or simply to hold on to yours. We know that you have to work your entire life just to pay off your HDB loan. And then when you retire, you cannot get your CPF savings back. This is why we have put in much time and effort into our alternative policies, because we want a people healthy and happy, not an island overcrowded with unqualified foreigners competing with us for jobs. To this end, the SDP will push for policies where employers give priority to Singaporeans when it comes to hiring. We want to make our housing truly affordable, where our HDB flats don't cost us a lifetime to pay off. To do this, we will advocate that the government does not include land costs into the price of new HDB flats. We want our retirees to live secure and dignified lives with all their CPF savings. For this to happen, we will work to abolish the minimum sum scheme so that you can get your CPF savings back in full. We want Singaporeans to have a better work-life balance, where our people are not so stressed. To do this, wages must rise in tandem with the cost of living in Singapore. We cannot be the most expensive city in the world and then have our wages stagnate for our people. We want to make our system transparent and hold the PAP accountable. We cannot and must not continue to write the PAP a blank check. This is dangerous and unhealthy for our nation's future. We have put up a very strong case for you to vote for the SDP. Not only have we published several alternative policy papers for you to consider, but we have also put together our town council management plan where we spell out clearly and in detail how we are going to effect a smooth takeover and how we will more productively and effectively manage your town council. No other party has done this. We drew up these policies because we want to provide an alternative vision for the future for Singaporeans, an alternative that is good for the future of our nation. In the past week, we are focused on three main issues: high cost of living, the retention of our CPF savings, and the continued importation of foreigners into our country. All these issues are, of course, interlinked. The high cost of living is caused by the influx of the super-rich foreigners pushing up prices in our housing, COEs, office rent, etc. All this translates into financial pressure on our people. Survey after survey shows that we are one of the most, if not the most, expensive cities in the world. And the matter is worsened by the arrival of huge number of foreign PMETs who compete with us for jobs. And then you have the CPF minimum sum scheme, which makes life for our retirees even more difficult by retaining our life savings. I've also pointed out that our quality of life and the well-being of our people is taking a beating because of the sudden and massive inflow of foreigners into this country. The strain of unfairly competing with foreigners, the overcrowding of our public places, the constant breakdown of our MRT system, all conspire to make life very harsh, very stressful for our people. Is it any wonder that studies repeatedly show that Singaporeans are the unhappiest and the most stressed out lot in Asia, if not the world? Now all this did not come by coincidence. They happened as a result of PAP policies. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to live like that. You are not helpless. You are not powerless. You can do something about the situation. You have a way out, and that way is the SDP. In the last 9 days, we have not just told you what is wrong with the PAP policies, but we have also presented to you an alternative vision backed by a set of alternative ideas and policies. It is an alternative that appeals to hope, not fear. One where we appeal to our better angels, not our basest, most selfish instincts. An alternative that puts our happiness, our well-being and our quality of life front and center of policy making, not the blind pursuit of materialism. An alternative where the people have a say in a democratic society where the government serves rather than soothes, debates rather than detains, and brings up rather than dumps down the people. We do this because we want to give you a reason to vote for the SDP, not just against the PAP. We do this because we know that you want a constructive and effective opposition in Parliament. Now, needless to say, these policies are not etched in stone, and we are only too aware that they are by no means perfect. Now, PAP says that our policy of cutting our defense budget is too drastic. We are not resistant to amending our own proposal and working with the PAP in Parliament to draw up a more balanced budget so that we can continue to have a strong national defense while at the same time have the government shoulder more responsibility for our nation's healthcare expenses. But this is where the SDP comes in strong. We will table these matters when we are in Parliament so that we can have a rigorous debate and, where feasible, work with each other to come to a workable solution that will help the people. When I was in Raffles Place selling my book a few years ago, a lady, she looked like she was in her 60s. She came up to me and gave me $5. From her uniform, I could tell that she was a cleaning lady. I told her that I couldn't take her money and offered to give her a book, a copy of my book instead. She said that she couldn't read. I said that I know she didn't earn a lot. I thanked her for her generosity and tried to return her the money. But she said to me in Hokkien, "This country is mine too, and I have a share in it. 这国家是我的，我也是有份。你唔使抹我位。" She said that you cannot deprive me of my share. I didn't know how to respond. I just looked on as she slowly walked away. I kept that $5 note, and today I still have it. I keep it as a reminder to myself why I got into politics 25 years ago. It's not for the power. And it's not for the riches. It's about speaking up for people like this cleaning lady and making life for people like her just a little bit more bearable. If I can do that, then all my struggles, all the sacrifice that I've made has been worth it. Help me, my brothers and sisters, help me get into Parliament to fight for this cleaning lady. You can call me all sorts of names: liar, cheat, gangster, failure, psychopath. You can jail me. You can sue me. You can make me a bankrupt. You can take all my possessions away. But no matter how hard you pound, I will take it. No matter how viciously you attack, I will tahan. No matter how nasty you play, I will not bow down. You can only destroy me if I allow you to. and I do not allow you to. You have taken everything away from me, but there is one thing you will never be able to take away, and that is my pride. You cannot take it because I do not give it to you. And as long as I have my pride, I will always stand up and do what I need to do, and that is speak truth to power. After I finished my studies in the US, I chose to come home. And when I came home, I chose to stay. And when I stayed, I chose to speak up. In life, we are always confronted by choices. At this election, when we go to the voting booth on Friday, what will you choose? You can choose a society of change, a society of promise, of hope, or we can choose a society where maybe we'll feel a little safer, but always under fearful silence and stagnation. We can choose a democratic and open system where policies are debated in an intense but mature manner, or we can choose a non-transparent system under the control of one party. We can choose a party that works hard to create opportunity for all, young and old, rich and poor. Or we can choose a party that continues to extract from our retirement savings and drains us of our spirit. What will you choose, my friends? When you walk into the voting booth to cast your vote, what will you choose? For me, I decided a long time ago. I choose justice. I choose compassion. I choose hope. I choose you, my fellow Singaporeans. I've been fighting for you for the last 20 years, and I will continue to fight for you every single day. I'm not a saint, but neither am I the devil that the other side wants you to believe. I'm just a human being with all my needs, someone who loves my country and wants the best for it. If you want someone perfect, then I'm not the man. But if you want someone who knows and understands what you're going through, someone who's there not just during the good times, but when you're down, someone who knows your worries, your financial difficulties, your aspirations, your hopes, your dreams, and then willing to stand up and fight for them, then send me to Parliament to work for you. Our Parliament needs an opposition with the intellectual capability to stand toe-to-toe with the PAP. Ask the tough questions that need to be asked. Debate the ministers on issues that need to be debated. And hold them accountable on matters which they must be held accountable. With everything that you've seen in the past week, my friends, from the very first speech that I made at Choa Chu Kang Stadium, to my lunchtime address at the UOB Parliament, to this evening, do you think that I can stand toe-to-toe with the PAP and kick them on intellectually? Do you think that I can ask the tough questions and show the ministers up if they give nonsensical answers? Do you think that I can hold them accountable if they break their promises or make policies against your interests? Then on Friday, when you walk into the voting booth, when you see my name, when you see my photo, when you see the SDP logo, put that cross in that box. Send me to Parliament to work for you, and more important, make the ministers work harder for you. In the same spirit, when you see Paul Tambaya's name, or you see John Tan's name, or Jaslyn Go's, or Kung Yin's, or Sada Sivam's name. Put the cross in their boxes. Now people ask me how I go on after all these years, after what the PAP has done to me. Well, there's something that keeps me going. It is the desire to leave behind a better society for my children when they grow up. We must believe. We must believe that we shall overcome. Believe that we can free ourselves from the suffocating system that dumbs us down, that brings out the worst in all of us. Believe that we can replace the system with a noble one that lifts everyone up, that calls on the spirit of the goodness in each and every one of us. Believe that freedom can walk hand in hand with economic progress. To those of you who do believe, I assure you that while the light may not yet be upon us, the dawn is not far away. When the going gets tough, let us sit down, if we must, and rest a while. But even as we do, let not our gaze fall from that sunrise that must surely come. Because we stand at the cusp of something momentous. For the soul of this nation is stirring, and we must be the ones to awaken it. It's been a long campaign. I tell you, as I'm standing before you, I am so tired. I slept like 10 hours the last 3 nights. But tired as I am, I have never been so excited about going to Parliament where the real work of change, of changing the life for the better, for all of us begins. It's been a long campaign, not just for the past 9 days, not just last 1 year, when we started planning for this GE, not just the last 4 years since the last election, when we started our work, but for me, my campaign started 25 years ago when I joined the SDP. I have tried to visit as many of you as I can, but please accept my apologies if I have not been able to visit you. It is not humanly possible to visit every one of you in the Holland-Bukit Timah GRC. But even though I haven't visited you, I want you to know that I have been working for you. I have not stopped working for you, for democracy, for my country, since that fateful day I started my political journey. And boy, I tell you, has that journey been an incredible one. You know, I started out when May and I didn't have children. And now they're all grown. There were ups and downs. A lot more downs than ups. There were very lean years too. But I never felt deprived. I never really felt afraid because I knew that there is a hand that guides me and my God who leads me. I always knew that at the end of the journey, the reward will be there. It may not be in my bank account, but it is a treasure far more desirable. I remember years ago, after picking up our kids from a friend's birthday party, and it was a big house. And you know how children are. And when we got home, and then my eldest daughter, who was 5 or 6 at that time, she turned to me and asked, "Papa, are we rich?" It was one of those questions that was as simple and innocent as it was complicated. It took me a while as I searched for an answer. And finally I said to her, "Yes, we are. Mom and I may not be able to send you to school in a big car. Or we may not be able to live in a big house where you can have your own room. But yes, We are rich. And you know why? Because we have you. Like any father, I want the best for them. But the most precious things in life are not the ones that glitter. As I said, I may not drive a big car or live in a big house. I don't even carry a credit card or a smartphone. But every day, when I walk through the door and hear my children call out, "Hi, Papa," I feel like the richest man on earth. And because of this, I have all that I need. And I can continue to do the things that really matter. I have found my role in society, and I found what I want in life. Do I not feel guilty that I've neglected their needs? Sure, it bothers me that I cannot provide for them. What son doesn't want to give his mother some pocket money for her to have some leisure? My mother has sacrificed so much for her children, and now I cannot even help her lead a more comfortable life. That hangs on me. She has been aching inside since the days I joined the SDP. And as I went through all the trials and tribulations, she couldn't do anything about it other than worry and keep telling me that I have to eat well and take care of my health. Tonight, I want to honor her for all the sacrifice and all the pain that I brought her by telling her that I love her very much. What father wouldn't like to buy his children birthday presents and see their faces light up when they unwrap their gifts? But I know they understand when I don't do this because they tell me that it's okay. Sometimes they tease me about it, saying that I always only give them hugs and kisses. But they know. They also know that I mean it when I say that I love them very much. And what husband would not want to surprise their wives with a gift every now and then? But I've been blessed with a very supportive and understanding wife, with her by my side, for better and for worse, until death do us apart. I know that all of them understand what I have to do, that even though I cannot afford much in life, I give them something much more valuable, my life, my devotion as a father and as a husband. And now, as the campaign draws to a close, I want to ask my fellow candidates to join me on the stage again. I am so proud of them. So proud of people whom I have had the honor and privilege of standing with in this election. I want to invite the party vice chairman, Mr. John Tan, here up on stage with his family. Ms. Chong Wai Fong, our party treasurer. Ms. Jaslyn Goh, our assistant treasurer. Brian Lim, our head of ground operations. Professor Paul Tamaya, Mr. Siddiq Malik, our candidate, my running mate for Holland-Bukit Timah GRC, and fast becoming an anti-killer himself, Mr. Kong Wai Yin. And our candidate from Marsiling UT, Mr. Damanuri Abbas. My good friend, candidate for Marsiling UT, Dr. Wong Suk Yi. And finally, the tenacious Mr. Salah Sivam Beria, candidate for Bukit Batok SMC. so proud of all of them. So proud that they're known, been so hardworking, so disciplined. So proud that we've run a positive, constructive campaign. I also want you to join me in the thanking the police for doing what they do and keeping the things that's as safe as we've held our campaigns and rallies. I want to thank all our volunteers, our members, our helpers, folks that cannot join us on stage tonight, but they've worked so hard to run this campaign in the most efficient manner. Someone reminded me many years ago that I stood on stage and I carried a little girl who didn't know what was going on, but enjoyed the lights and clapping and cheering anyway. Her name is Anthem. She's my eldest of 3 children. Anthem is all grown up now, and I want her to ask her and her sister Elin and her brother Shoha back up on stage and see for themselves what I see. And when they see all I see with all of your blessings, your prayers, and your friendship, they will see how rich their Father is. Finally, I want to honor someone who has been with me, someone who's laughed with me, cried with me, someone who stood by me through the darkest moments, who given me the strength to take that one more step, someone who silently but steadfastly looked after our family as I went about democracy's work. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to reintroduce to you my lovely wife, Simei.
Now the candidates will be presented with a garland of honor. Candidates, please take a step forward. These garlands are from our supporters all around Singapore. Singaporeans, please stand as we sing the national anthem.
Mari kita raya Singapura, sama-sama menuju bahagia. Cita-cita kita yang mulia, berjaya Singapura.
as one united people. Regardless of race, language, or religion, to build a democratic society based on justice and equality, so as to achieve happiness, prosperity, and progress for all nations. And now, as the campaign draws to a close and the speeches stop and the microphones fall silent, the matter has fallen out of our hands and into yours. Whatever happens on Saturday, we thank you for this opportunity to speak up for you and to serve you. We commend our campaign to you, the voters. In your hands lies the future of this nation, the future of our people and our children. All I can say now is, vote wisely, my fellow Singaporeans. For one final time in this election, thank you and good night.
Dr. Chee will now proceed to sign autographs. It is on the stage, on stage left. So as announced earlier, please queue up in orderly fashion because we have elderly and children in the crowd.
Good night, everybody.
待会儿将邀请徐博士有个小小的书籍签名活动，地点会是在台的左边，这样你们要很有秩序的排好队。出口处将会在台的右边，谢谢。
This is Happy TV. We are at the SDP rally at Clementi. The rally has just ended, but stay tuned with us. We'll be talking to some people. Okay.
Hold on.
I see how it is, Mother.
Your sister now you didn't go out. When also.
I was before my twin. The older one always goes first. The better one always goes first.
Alright.
Okay, so people take the
So, I mean, just general, how do you feel about the rally? This is the last rally.
Well, there's a lot of energy, really a lot of energy.
A lot of energy, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel? So which speaker do you like the most? Which speaker?
I mean, obviously, Paul and Chee Soon Juan are my favorite.
Chee Soon Juan is favorite.
Yeah,
What do you
every
like
single
about
one.
the speech?
Full of energy, full of promises, and I think a lot of compassion, a lot of points that they pointed out are actually relevant. And they do have white paper, they do have document to support all these things. I think it's going to be good to have them be voted in.
Okay, so what do you think about their chances this election? I mean,
that's a difficult one. I feel definitely it's going to be a lot more chance, more for them to get in this time. For myself, I'm not with this GRC, but I do feel that it will be good for the nation, good for Singapore that they get in.
okay. What GRC are you from?
I'm from the West Coast.
West Coast. So you know some of the issues that you raised, for example, like delinking the land cost with HDB cost,
Yeah.
and returning the CPF savings. What do you think about these? These are considered quite radical.
Okay, it's very simplistic to just look at what they say now, but we have to probably look at the whole solution that they have proposed. But this is not about. I mean, this is just one election, so it's very hard to tell. But at least they have the courage, the gut to come up with something different, something that is beneficial to the people here. Right, thank you. Thank you.
I'll just ask English, but you can reply in Mandarin. So how do you find
Where would this be?
on internet.
Internet. OK，
Chee Soon Juan
这是我第一次来到民主党的群众大会。之前对民主党的了解，基本上就是通过报章媒体。所以10多年以来，我可能对民主党懂得可能是某一方面。现在这一次大选呢，就有机会通过媒体其他渠道了解民主党，包括他们的Dr. G， 所以可能会更全面。对候选人，我觉得是一个比较好的多一些选择了。好，谢谢。
觉得气氛怎么样？
气氛很好啊，感觉来的人都是自发自动的，大家都很有秩序。我也发现到整个 rally 过后呢，都是很干净的，大家都自发自动拿掉，然后甚至最后大家唱国歌宣誓，感觉那气氛确实是很不一样。本身也受到感动。毕竟新加坡选民是成熟了，比以前成熟了。好，加油！
好，谢谢你啊。This is Happy TV at Clementi, where the SDP rally has just ended. However, as you can see, there are still a lot of people staying behind to get an autograph from Dr. Chee, who is a lot of people, his books have been very popular over the past few days. A lot of people are queuing up to buy his books and get an autograph from him. This concludes the end of our rally coverage at Clementi.